Hi fellow logicians, welcome to the Logical Christ channel where we evaluate logical argument that would help us apply logic to arguments presented. Now, here's the logical argument we will evaluate. Premise 1, a religion should not promote violence. Premise 2, Jihad is a violent act sanctioned by Islam. Conclusion, therefore, Islam is a violent religion. Sit back and relax. We will be back after this short intro.
Thinking with logical Christ.
Here again the logical argument. Premise 1, a religion should not promote violence. Premise 2, Jihad is a violent act sanctioned by Islam. Conclusion, therefore, Islam is a violent religion. Premise 1 argument. In its purest form, religion should be a beacon of peace, compassion, and understanding, guiding individuals towards harmony with themselves, their communities, and the divine. The essence of faith lies in empathy, forgiveness, and the pursuit of spiritual growth, not in the justification or promotion of violence. Here's Dr. Shabar Ali explaining that Islam is about peace.
First, Islam is about peace. The Quran says, "As-sulhu khair," peace is better. And the Quran tells us in the 8th chapter, وَإِن جَنَحُوا لِلسَّلْمِ فَاجْنَحْ لَهَا وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ. And if they incline towards peace, then you should also incline towards peace and put your trust in Allah. So the basic situation and the status quo, according to the Quran, is a state of peace that should not be ruptured. In fact, according to the Quran, it is others who will start the fires of war. So the Quran says whenever they start the fire of war, God puts it out. So God wants to put out the fires of war and for peace to continue and to prevail.
Now for premise 2 argument. Jihad is an Arabic word that literally means striving, exerting effort, or struggle. In an Islamic context, its meaning is broad and encompasses various forms of striving to live according to Allah's will. Here's a sheikh said that Islam is just waiting a chance to do jihad.
The other type of jihad is the one that everyone trying to hide. And it's called jihadut talab. And this means that the jihad of pursuing, running after. And this jihad was at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. But this jihad cannot be accomplished, cannot take place unless the state of the Muslims is strong. If you don't have a strong Muslim country, who can they pursue or attack? No, stay where you are. Just try to fix yourself, enrich your people with Islamic knowledge and Iman, then you can go. And what is the reason behind such jihad? Number 1, to call them to Islam. It is for da'wah. The jihad is only for da'wah. That is why when Muslims go and conquer the adjacent country, what do? We kill them all? No. The Prophet says, the first thing you do is call them to Islam. If they accept it, leave them. Khalas, they're Muslims. We go. We don't want your country. We don't want your land. We don't want your wealth. If they refuse, then tell them Allah obliged upon you to pay taxation, jizya. Stay kafir as you wish, no problem. But you have to give us a percentage, yes. And you enjoy sitting in your homes and in your country and live your life normally. But the ruling is for Sharia. So you do not open nightclubs, you do not fornicate in the streets, you do not, no, Sharia rules, but you live your life, you marry, you have children, you enjoy your life, but publicly, Islam rules. If they refuse, then we have to fight. And if we fight you, then we capture you, you become our slaves, and we take your land.
Here's Robert Spencer, an author, stated that violent acts can be committed and are supported by many Quranic passages.
Anyway, if you open your Qurans, those of you who did bring them, Chapter 9, verse 5. When the sacred months are over, kill the idolaters wherever you find them. Chapter 4, verse 89. Good thing you're not an idolater, right? No problem. Chapter 4, verse 89. They wish that you would disbelieve just as they disbelieved, so that you may be all alike. Do not, therefore, take allies from them until they emigrate in the way of Allah. That is, if they leave one country and go to another to conquer and Islamize it. You may have heard of things like that happening. But if they turn their backs, then seize them and kill them wherever you find them. There it is again. Chapter 2, verse 191. Kill them wherever you find them. Are you getting a pattern here? Chapter 9, verse 5 does not say, kill them wherever you find them, but it does say, fight against those who do not believe in Allah nor in the last day, and do not forbid what He has forbidden, even if they are of the people of the book, which is Jews and Christians primarily, until they pay the jizya, which is a tax, with willing submission and feel themselves subdued. In other words, fight against the Jews and the Christians until they submit, denied basic rights under the rule of Islamic law. Chapter 8, verse 39, fight them until religion is all for Allah, which means if there are other people of other religions, then you got to keep fighting. So, I would submit to you on the basis of this, and there's much more that I could quote and will, if you'd like to challenge in the question period, I can give you much more evidence. Islam is not a religion of peace.
Following the arguments, we can logically accept the conclusion that based on evidence that Islam is a violent religion. Here is another spin of the same logical argument. Premise 1, Jihad is an Islamic principle to subdue non-Muslims for Allah. Premise 2, according to Surah Al-Baqarah 2:191, killing is the recompense of the disbelievers of Allah. Conclusion, therefore, Allah required the subjugation and killing of non-Muslims. Here's a clip answering a deep question regarding the matter.
The question he just asked, what does that have to do with Islam being a religion of peace? If you're almost making the argument that Islam is what you want it to be, depending on how you behave. So if you behave peacefully, is it not a religion of peace to you?
That is a brilliant question. When you can start by saying Islam is a different thing to 1.57 billion people. And from that general point, you can reduce it to what is it that unifies them. And ultimately, you will get to the Quran and the Hadith. The Quran, the Hadith, the Day of Judgment, the belief in the Day of Judgment. And if you take those three concepts, then it's far from a religion of peace, because you look first of all not only at the content of the Quran in context. Fine, I'm willing to contextualize it, but what if other believers are not and they're influential? What if I want to read Muhammad's practices simply as a matter of history, another great figure in history, but more Muslims, millions of Muslims don't want to do that, right, and so, really want to follow his practice. What if more and more Muslims invest in the hereafter more than they invest in life? Then we have a problem. And that's why I ask you to vote against the motion. It cannot be only a religion of peace. Because if it were only a religion of peace, if it were perfect, why would we have this debate? Why would we be talking about reforming it?
Finally, after our evaluation of the premises, we have a solid logical argument that Premise 1, Jihad is an Islamic principle to subdue non-Muslims for Allah. Premise 2, according to Surah Al-Baqarah 2:191, killing is the recompense of the disbelievers of Allah. Conclusion, therefore, Allah required the subjugation and killing of non-Muslims. What do you think, my fellow logicians? Comment down below.
Thinking with Logical Christ.